Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Cancer YouTubers updates. So today we have a kind of a mixed bag. We have some news, some no news, and some sad news. So let's get right into it. Let's start today with Can Ramblers. Steve uploaded a video on Tuesday to introduce Walking and Talking Tuesdays. It's a talking video and it's a walking video. And as long as I don't have to walk while I watch it, I'm good with that. He talks about a new format and a new schedule. And I'll tell you, as a content creator, that's like a learning curve. It is a work in progress. It is a constant tweaking. Steve talks about how extra tough this winter has been with his seasonal affective disorder. And I think we all have that. But I also think it's been particularly difficult this winter on the East Coast. So it's been snowing, a lot of snowing. It was kind of a dark winter because of all of that. Didn't see the sun a whole lot. So I think we all suffered for that. And if you're going through anything like Steve and Nancy, it probably only adds to the situation. But spring is here and the weather's a little up and down. It hit 79 yesterday here in Pennsylvania. And then we woke up to about 35. So I don't know what it's doing out there, but welcome global warming. He's also talking about how he's slacked off on his own diet and exercise to adjust to Nancy's needs. Obviously, these are times when we don't always put ourselves first, but if you don't take care of yourself, it's harder to take care of everybody else. So now he has new goals for diet and exercise that he actually wants his viewers to keep him accountable. So you better go visit him and support his new efforts and just keep him on his toes. I liked watching the scenery. It's a nice little town. I don't know if it was a Sunday morning that he did this or not, but there wasn't a lot of people there. But it was clean and it was, I don't know, it just had a really good vibe to it. The one thing I don't get is that, like, there are people at their windows, even if they're not on the street. And I don't know, sitting here walking with a stick. I can't do that. I mean, he's just like he's the only one in the world. And I love that. But I get a little self-conscious. I don't know. Even if there's somebody like half a mile away that I think could see me, I just have to get over that. My only gripe about this whole video was the fact that I didn't burn any calories. Story of my life. Then Thursday, Steve takes us on a journey through Grant Park. More walking. It's fine. It was beautiful. This is a park where he's been going to for many years. And as a teacher, he taught nature to his students on these very trails. So it's obviously a special place for him. But the topic was a little bit more difficult. Apparently, everybody has been asking, including Nancy, what is it that you'll be doing with your life once Nancy is no longer here? That's a very common thought. But I will say I loved his answer. He said, I can't start living for tomorrow, not now. That's so Buddhist. I mean, it's about this moment being the only moment there is. You can't live in any other moment. Other than logistics, maybe about the house or something like that, I've never pressed Chris for that information. I mean, how do we know what that looks like until that moment arrives? I do have hopes for Chris, but I don't expect him to know what that looks like from here. Now, he may have had thoughts and considerations about this, which would be totally normal. We all do that. But whatever he's thinking, unless he wants to share it, is really none of my business. I just know that God and the universe work, and there's always another plan for us. Now, I will say, once in a while, we have discussions, just things that come up, and like Chris will talk about maybe redecorating the living room. And my response is, I will haunt you. No, I won't do it for that, actually, but I will haunt him anyway. I have plans. Yeah, not too many people can say that, right? Okay, let's move on to Tiffany Thinks. Tiffany uploaded 2 days after her treatment this week, and she said she was really zonked out and just wasn't even there. She slept through the 2 days, which, that's normal. Like we all need to do that once in a while. Some treatments are different than others, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's where your body's at that moment, especially when you're still getting the same medications. But she opens up by sitting on the couch between her mother on one side and her darling Matt. And Matt takes care of Baxter, and she's suddenly craving coconut water and certain goodies, and that's really a good sign. So she and Matt go shopping before they head back out to get scans. And I have to tell you, you couldn't tell any anxiety coming from Tiffany. She really had that in check. So her scan anxiety was good. And I applaud her for that because she definitely put the effort into it, but she was just her ordinary, bubbly Tiffany self. Good job. And when they came home, Matt had made some chicken soup with lentils that looked really, really good. It's very helpful, whether you have cancer or not, to have a partner who cooks. I have to say, of the several partners I've had, Chris is the first one I've ever been able to share a kitchen with. Well, I did date a chef like in my early 20s. That just totally doesn't count. And not, well, we're just going to move on from there. But I really do appreciate that. Chris and I have different palates. Mine may be more geared to older people, older generation. But most everything that I make, he likes, and most everything he makes, I like. And if I need to pick out a little red pepper, that's fine. That's fine. But we try to consider each other while still, enjoying the food that we like. And it's all about compromise. I want to talk about big no, Noah Thomas now. Noah finished his 6th chemo treatment. And as I said in the last video, it was a little harder for him. The side effects were bad. He revisits the past few days and compares them to previous rounds. He also talks about deciding not to take certain medications that may have helped him with his side effects, indicating that maybe those meds also come with their own side effects. And I have to say, one thing I really do admire about Noah is that he takes charge of his own health care. He does not just blindly do what every doctor tells him to do. I guess that just depends on your doctor, but it seems like Noah is responsible and knowledgeable. And that's the key. There are people that just say, well, I kind of feel like I don't want to take that medication anymore, so I'm not going to. And that's not responsibility. That can be dangerous, as a matter of fact. I do want to point out, though, that his breathing was a little heavy. And I don't know if he was just exhausted or if that had to do with uh, the side effects at all. But you could tell that this particular treatment beat him up a little bit. He also talks about his routines and some of the things he hates about it. And he feels like he's being negative, but he's not. He's made it to round 6. He's earned a little bit of, ranting rights. One of the things is how he smells. And this brought up memories I had long forgotten. Yeah, chemotherapy treatments, the chemicals come out of the pores. And everybody smells a little different because everybody has different types of body odor. But I think that mixed in coming out of the pores, I remember a little bit of a sweet smell. And it also depends on which medication that they're running through your veins. I think that, yeah, it was really, really a nasty time now that I remember it. And I have to say, the last thing you feel like doing is taking a shower when you've just had chemo. Maybe day 1, but by day 2, day 3, no. I remember skipping a couple of days. And I'm not, like, I never had to take like that pump at home. And I do kind of wonder if you're not supposed to take a shower until that unit is finished and unplugged. Uh, if you've ever had that done or know someone who does, let me know in the comments if you can take a shower with a pump. Because I get an education from our YouTubers, but also from you always. So I appreciate that. Now, I did make a mistake thinking that he was almost at the end of his treatments, because the golden seal is usually about 6 treatments, but it does depend on the cancer and the treatments you're getting, of course. And I think back in the day, it was like, this is the regimen, and everybody kind of gets very similar regimens. Now it's all over the board because they're discovering that certain cancers respond better to certain things that other cancers can't touch. So, or other cancers that can't be touched by chemotherapy. Boy, I said that all backwards, but I want to leave it. So, what I did learn in this video was that Noah's only at the halfway mark. And I got to say, I'm a little concerned, only because he admits it is getting harder. And it seems to be like you can see that he got beat up a little bit, but that he's bouncing back. And the one thing, though, that is a saving grace is that Noah does take the best care of himself that he can. Does he eat a little junk food once in a while? Yeah, sure. I mean, especially if you have cravings or something, and sometimes cancer does that, but at least he has an appetite. But for the most part, his diet's pretty clean, and he's still getting his fitness in. Whether it's at full steam or not, I don't know, but I doubt. But he's still making sure he gets that in. And the third thing is that he tries very hard to be mindful of where his thoughts go, especially as one who has suffered from depression. He really does try to keep himself in emotional check. And I think those items alone are monumental. And it could be the key to him recovering from this cancer. So join me in rooting for Noah. Go see him and show your love and support, because he also mentions all the time how important his viewers are, that they are also a factor in his healing. And I do believe that as someone who has journeyed through this myself, it's a very healing thing to just do that, because even if it's parasocial, you feel like you're reaching out to friends. And I think the comments are very important, and they're very supportive for the most part, and they mean a lot to Noah. So go show your love and send him a hello. I know he appreciates each and every comment. Yeah, unless they're trolls. But we all get those once in a while. Okay, let's move on to Purple Phoenix, Living with Cancer, My Journey. Michelle shared a video with us this past week that was kind of heartbreaking, but I think also healing. She just buried her father, but she seems in good spirits, and she even shared a little bit of some graveyard footage. She also showed us a soft briefcase that her dad had that she didn't know he had. She'd never seen it before. And I don't know if there was anything in it at the time or she put things in it, but she had opened it up and showed us all of this memorabilia from his Navy days. And that included news articles and pictures, and her face just lit up, and you knew immediately how proud she was of her dad. I have the feeling that going through those papers was very healing for her. Not only just going through them the first time, but making the video and showing them to us. I think, again, sharing this journey is a healing. It's an effort, but it is a healing. Michelle, thank you so much for sharing something so personal. I really appreciated your video. And now to the no news, Eke Acres. Kevin and Bridget scooted around in a park, and they talked about all of the new content they're going to make with the great outdoors this summer. And they're talking about camping, fishing, traveling to other states. Okay. And I hope they get to do it. I hope there's lots of vlogging, exciting outdoor adventures. But I realize that Kevin doesn't want to cover any health content. Who am I to judge? Maybe it's because he really feels he's cured, or maybe it just attracted a lot of trolls and he wants to get back to his life and basics. Either way, I don't blame him. But I've decided not to cover Kevin any longer unless that should change. And I think that is not only the respectful thing to do, but we're not here to cover camping trips, obviously. So I'm going to keep an eye on things because, you'd never know. I hope that home remedy is, working. I would like to think that he's in good health. He certainly looks well. He hasn't complained. He hasn't winced in pain. And I think that maybe if he had those symptoms, he would share them, but I don't know. He didn't always get a good result with his viewers. And I know trolls can really get to him. So that said, if there is news, I will definitely keep you updated, but I'm only going to keep half an eye out. I think we can all agree. We wish him the best. Now for the sad news. Most of you know, well, a lot of you know, but not everyone knows, because this was announced like a week ago, and at the time of my last updates video, but Ruth Dye has passed. I'm always going to be sad about relaying news like that. But Ruth was in a lot of pain and discomfort toward the end, and she is definitely where she needs to be. But I really, really liked this woman. There was like this innocence about her that made you want to root for her every day, no matter what she was doing. Ruth passed away on March 19th at a hospice in Burlington, Iowa. And I was able to confirm this through social media. Her husband had posted not only the announcement, but the days leading up to that. So I want to share that with you. Chris writes, "Hello, all of my Facebook friends and family. I wanted to take a second and give everyone a quick update. Ruth has continued to decline, and so she has been fully admitted to a hospice house in Burlington. The pain management meds are being administered through her port, allowing her to rest. Her and I shared a moment today. She usually responds to my boots when I walk in, and today was no exception. She told me that she trusted me with the kids. More importantly, she told me that she was ready to go to heaven. She is now resting peacefully, not saying a lot now, but peace is good. No one knows how long she has left. Only the Lord does. Please pray for the kids as we navigate these final moments of her journey before she gets called to heaven." I can't help but think of those children and Chris and Ruth's mom. I hope you'll join me in sending healing, love, and prayers to the whole family as they try to move on and navigate the next chapter in their lives. I know she'll watch over these children. So that's all we have this week. I do have something special for you coming up. I'm going to introduce you to someone new very soon. And I'm also going to cover my trip to Harrisburg to lobby for Death with Dignity. So more on that very soon. And until next time, I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.